several places. For example, here, says the well-skilled sadhaka should deeply meditate on Lord Shiva. Is he talking about himself, or is there a distinction between Adi Yogi and Shiva? Is Shiva the Nirankara form of Shiva? Is there a difference? It's a question I've had for a very long time.
So in the Agamas, Mahadeva is described in many ways. So he is worshipped in many different forms. So the form in which he gives the knowledge, or he directly instructs the yoga, he is called Adi Yogi. Now here in specific places, he has been asked, the person who is worshipping or practicing has been asked to bring awareness to or worship a certain form of Mahadeva. So here where he is saying the meditate on the Lord Shiva, it is like the general whatever you understand as Lord Shiva, where he has to meditate on Mahadeva as say the entire cosmos, or just as say a light, a shaft of light. There it's mentioned you will experience yourself as a luminous form of Mahadeva. So those specific forms are mentioned in each verse actually. And even in if you see the Uttarpada of Kamyaka Agama, each form is described in a lot of detail. So the dancing form is described in its own way, Dakshinamurti is described in his own way. Even in the beginning of the Kamyaka Agama, the form of Mahadeva is described. He is sitting under the tree, the fig tree, and he is sitting in this particular asana, and he has his eyes closed in half moon way. So the entire description is given of every form of Mahadeva in every place where it is mentioned.
Artiji, you mentioned briefly about Agama as also being a part of Shruti.
Yes.
And popularly we know Vedas and Upanishads. And this is of course one Agama. But there are other Agamas too. I asked you about Brihaspati Agama. Similarly, there might be many others. And what's the difference between Agamas and Nigam?
So, what you asked me about Brihaspati Agama, I have not heard of it, so I wouldn't comment on it. Maybe it exists because, like I said, so much of our literature is lost that maybe there is something else which I am not familiar of. Yes, so the other two which I have learned from my guru and which I have heard of, seen popularly, are the Vaishnav and the Shakt Agamas. So the ones which I know of are these. If there's something else, I'm not aware of it. The other question was Nigam and Agam. So Agam is the entire applied science and the Nigam is the original science.
ये जब आप मेडिटेशन की बात करते हैं तो पतंजलि का जो बताना है वो डिफरेंट है, और आपने जो बताया है अबाउट द शिवा स्तुति या मेडिटेशन वो डिफरेंट है, और गीता में वो भी डिफरेंट है. तो क्या अगर आपको अपने इष्ट को किसी को भी मेडिटेट करना है, मतलब उनको बुलाना है और उनसे आपने दीक्षा लेनी है, क्या ये सही है? और जब आप प्रेयर करते हैं तो आप कुछ मांगते हैं, तो ये मेडिटेशन तीनों में जो कि पतंजलि अलग है और गीता अलग है और जो अभी आपने बोला वो अलग है, तो इन तीनों में कोई आप थिन लाइन बता सकते हैं कि जो सब में एक है? अगर हम किसी को भी सामने रख के उसकी, जैसे हम चंद्र पे करते हैं तो हमारा भोजन पाचन क्रिया ठीक हो जाती है, सूर्य पे करते हैं तो हमारे शक्ति बढ़ जाती है, इस तरीके से पतंजलि ने बहुत सारे उसमें विभाजित किया है और वो बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने उसमें भी बताया है. तो हम अगर ये तीनों को अगर इकट्ठा करें तो इसमें आपको क्या चीज़ ऐसी लगती है जिससे कि समाज को फ़ायदा हो और वो ये करने लगे?
So dhyan is not exactly meditation. What Patanjali and Bhagwan Krishna and here Mahadeva has given is dhyan, not meditation. So the word meditation has a very Buddhist connotation. That's why I don't want to use the word meditation, because what the Buddhists practice as meditation is a completely separate tradition. That is not what we refer to when we say dhyan. तो मैं आपको बहुत रफ वे में अगर एक्सप्लेन कर सकती हूँ, जैसे अगर कोई बच्चा पढ़ नहीं हो रहा होता है तो आप उसको बोलते हैं ध्यान लगा के पढ़ो, राइट? दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ ध्यान. ध्यान मतलब आपकी पूरी अवेयरनेस उस चीज़ पे होनी चाहिए ना. व्हाट इज दैट ऑब्जेक्ट? दैट ऑब्जेक्ट कैन बी महादेवा, दैट ऑब्जेक्ट कैन बी चंद्र, दैट ऑब्जेक्ट कैन बी सूर्य. सो पतंजलि ने जो दिए हैं वो चंद्र संयमा, सूर्य संयमा है. सो संयमा इज एक्चुअली अ स्पिरिचुअल प्रोसेस विच इज़ वन स्टेप अहेड ऑफ ध्यान. ध्यान के बाद उन्होंने संयमा पे बात की है. So, Samyama is actually becoming completely one with that thing, where your own identity is again no longer there. That is what he has defined as samyama, Patanjali. Now, which process you want to choose is your choice. That is up to you.
Patanjali is actually making you from seed to seedless. So you understand that from your material body to your soul body. So that is when you are in a seedless body, when you don't deserve anything or you don't need anything, all questions are answered. Then you get into a samadhi.
So that is
before that is all ritual. This is what I understand. I may be.
So Patanjali has given Ashtanga Yoga. In that, again, it is not 8 steps. It is 8 parts. 8 parts of yoga. Patanjali has not said you practice this first and that later. So that is a very common misunderstanding. That is not what Patanjali has said. And Samadhi is mentioned as the end goal, but that is what I am saying, that Patanjali happened much later and his instructions are have their own place. But here it is not mentioned that the goal is Samadhi. Here it is mentioned that Samadhi is the realization that you are that. So that is the context of doing everything in this. And which technique you use is actually eventually your choice. But all the techniques, there are thousands of techniques. So if you go to Vigyan Bhairav Tantra of Mahadeva himself, not one, there is a whole lot of, every chapter, every sutra is a technique in Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. So there is, that question is not there that should I practice this or that. You practice whichever you want, wherever you want to start, right? And you can keep growing with your practice. So it is not a conflict. In Hinduism, we are very rich. So we have so many techniques for one single thing, right? We are not a dry, conservative religion. I mean, religion is also a small word for it, but we are very rich in everything. So you want wealth, there are so many techniques for it. You want spiritual evolution, there are so many techniques for it. It is our wealth. So I think I've answered. And the context of puja is not that you don't deserve. So in Upanishads, it says, Brahmanyam Bahuputratam. I am the inheritor of the cosmos. So this is again a very Christian concept where they drill it into you that you are a sinner, you don't deserve anything. In Hinduism, they don't say that. In Hinduism, the rishis are very clear. You deserve everything. It is only your own ideas of what you deserve and what you don't deserve that hold you back, and these processes will help you come out of that. So the more you realize you are Mahadeva, what does that mean? Mahadeva means you deserve everything, right? Mahadeva does not have any conflict, do I deserve this or do I not deserve that? So that concept is not there even in puja. It's just a process for you to manifest whatever you want.
I have a question on Pran Pratishtha. Like, is this term only used for bringing gods to temple, or like if we like in Janmashtami we bring Laddu Gopal to a home? So is there a process for this also? So
that process is not called Pran Pratishtha. What you bring, a deity to your home, that deity is usually energized by your guru. As per the agamas, that any deity which you use for your personal worship is supposed to be energized by your guru and given to you for worship. And then there is a certain process mentioned of, like I said, Panchagavya se shuddhi karte hain us space ki. It is given which part of your house you should keep the deity and how you should do the deity ki puja and all of that. But that process is not called Pran Pratishtha. The process of Pran Pratishtha is only for the Pararth puja.
Like if we bring Laddu Gopal to a home, so like will it have a negative effect? We don't follow a complete process.
No, it's not a negative effect. See, nowhere is Mahadeva is saying that if you, wherever there is a negative effect, he is saying it. But it is not mentioned as a negative effect that if you start doing puja to say, you bring any Krishna to your home, he is not saying that don't do. He is just saying if you do it this way, you will have this benefit. See, he is very clear. If there is some negative effect, he has mentioned it. So, for example, when he is offering Naivedyam, he has said that if you don't do this, you will not have that prosperity. But and if there is a negative effect, he is very frank about it. He is not like, oh, goody kind of thing. He is very frank. This causes this kind of illness. He has mentioned wherever it is there. But I have not come across this. If you want, I can verify it once and get back to you. Yeah.
See, in the case of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, climax last abode is Kaivalya Samadhi. So Kaivalya is same as what you are describing here, right. But you said no, it is different. So what is the...
No, I did not say it's different. I just said the method given in Patanjali Yoga Sutras is different. The method given here is different.
Now another question, is Agam a part of Veda, being Shruti? So or it is independent of Veda?
So see, in the Kamyaka Agama, Mahadeva has explained, initially the truths were delivered in 2 streams, Apara and Para. He has described originally the Vedas which were delivered as apara and the Agamas as para. And then because, okay, let's not go because, I don't know because, but then he expanded the Agamas into a whole, whatever I explained, from the 25 faces, he revealed all the Agamas. So then it became even bigger. So it is not which came before and which came later. Both were revealed, they were both extensions of each other, you can say. So collectively, actually, they are called Vedagamas. The term Vedagamas is still relevantly known
in that case, in which Veda is it mentioned?
What?
The 4 Vedas.
Yeah.
So which Veda contains Agam, this Agam?
No, Vedas don't contain Agamas. Vedas and Agamas are extensions of each other. They are not the same scriptures. So like I said, Mahadeva revealed both. He's not even said he revealed. That's actually again not correct. I want to stick as close as possible to what is exactly mentioned in Kamika Agama. He has said initially they were revealed in 2 streams, para and apara. Apara knowledge, the knowledge of all the mortal beings and the bonds which hold them, all of that is contained in the Vedas. Para is knowledge of all that is ultimate, is given in the Agamas. And then he expanded para into the, the 25 categories which is given. So they are not either, so this is actually a very, what should I say, deficiency of English as a language, where we don't have a word to explain how the Vedas and Agamas are related, because they are neither separate nor are they the same. They are extensions of each other.
Hi, I had a couple of observations and then one question, which I thought partly he stole my question, but I don't believe he has. Just the 2 observations. One is, congratulations on the presentation. I think it was sort of very quick summary of a very detailed subject. It felt a bit like reading Stephen Hawking's Brief History of Time, which is a small book but very difficult to sort of comprehend at one go. The other was just the sense that you carried through the presentation of why things are questioned. And I think there are different kinds of answers to that, not necessarily linked to invasions. And that's a longer discussion. But just the question, and to pose it, it's probably a carry through. The distinction between Vedas and Agamas. And this is something that, so I come from coastal India, so the coast of Karnataka and Kerala. There is a clear understanding that the Agamas are actually very distinct from the Vedas. And they do not arise from the Vedas. And therefore, when we use the term Hinduism, and quite common thought process is that Hinduism springs from the Vedas, there is a clear distinction, and therefore there is a debate whether the Agamas spring from the Vedas at all. And there is a complete standalone tradition, and the Vedas are different and the Agamas are different. And they at some point in time in history have sort of gone together and have sort of gotten commingled, but very, very different. And the question really was, in a sense, what is the big distinction between the two? And as I understand it, the Vedas are, again, both are sort of Shrutis. Vedas sort of a bit of poetry in terms of what has happened in those times, and it's got a certain, it reads, if you read it in just text, it reads like poetry. Whereas the Agamas might not necessarily be poetry. They might be actually more descriptive about how we do rituals, etc. And so therefore they are quite different. But the question really is that true? Is that a good understanding? Or are they actually one springs from the other?
So nothing springs from anything. This is one thing I am finding very difficult to explain actually. So it is like I write one book, right? And then I go and drink water and I come back and I write another book. Now what will you say? Are the 2 books same? Are they different? Are they coming one before the other? I wrote both the books within few days of each other. So what will you say? Are they happening at the same time? Are they happening at different times? Are they both, some ideas expressed are same because they are timeless truths, right? And some ideas are different because, this is a pure science and this is an applied science. So I think the easiest way in which I can explain the difference between Vedas and Agamas is one is pure science and one is applied science. So in Agamas, it is all applied science. Even where he has given a description, so Mrigendra Agama has all the descriptions of all the higher planes of existence, the 11 dimensions, right? Now, but he has also given processes for realizing those. So the Agamas are the applied science. How can you make it happen now for you? Whereas Vedas are the pure science. So like, you have a hypothesis and then you do certain experiments to again come to the same conclusion, right? So are you from a science background? Yes. Yeah, so if I say pure science and applied science, I think you'll be able to get the difference, right? So there is a certain principle of science, and then you apply that principle to create an object, a machine. The machine is the applied science. Or if you know the theory of rotational dynamics and you use a wheel and prepare a cart to run your day, that is applied science. So that is at best, that is what I can explain as a difference between Vedas and Agamas. And there are many things which are common between Vedas and Agamas, but you can't say they are both the same. Right? This is a binary logic, which is this Aristotle and Plato kind of logic, which does not apply to our scriptures, because we don't see things in 0 or 1. We don't see things in yes or no. We don't see if the door is open or closed, right? If I say this door is open and the other, I don't say anything, doesn't mean the other is closed. I'm just trying to help you understand that this logic itself does not apply to Hindu scriptures, right? So there are some truths which are in the Vedas which are exactly as it is again mentioned in the Agamas, because the truth is the truth is the truth, right? Now, the way it is expressed in Vedas and the purpose is different. What it is expressed in the Agamas is different. Again, this controversy, I am not sure exactly the source of this, about which is Hinduism, which is not, but Mahadeva is very much, Hindu deity. So, and everything Mahadeva has revealed is for installation of temples and, everything I just explained. So, it is very much a part of Hinduism because of many. From my guess, there have been many political tussles in different sects and different sampradayas. Many people discard the other sampradaya altogether. And this is just something which has happened over many years. So that is why many belief systems started growing, that this is not right, that is not right. And that whole confusion just got permeated because nobody knew what is right. But it is not that only one thing is relevant and the other is not.
Can I just share one more thought?
Yeah.
Is because since you use the term Hinduism as a religion,
yeah.
The thought is really, and I'm also a lawyer other than being from the science background.
Okay.
What is a Hindu is actually described by exclusion. That is, you are not which in law is defined, you are not a Christian, you are not a Muslim, you are not a Jew, you are not a Parsi. Mm-hmm. In many, many ways, it is actually described as the various systems that, and I would not also call them belief, because a lot of them is nothing to do with belief, but various systems that actually existed on this land of India. And so it is defined as that. And so therefore there is no one common thought. It's not a religion, and therefore very often when you get into this debate of trying to explain it as a religion, there is an sort of trap over there, because it is not a religion, it's a set of different beliefs. It's just like, the Greek religion doesn't have a name. The Egyptian religion does not have a name. The religions in India did not have names. We did not need to name them anything. And so therefore, when we fall into the Semitic trap of trying to describe or define or name the religion, which is why in law also it's defined as exclusion, but that is just a comment.
So, this is a question I'm very often asked, so I might as well answer it here. So, Hinduism, by the normal definition of a religion, is not a religion, because whatever you understand as religion, of whatever are considered to be religions, it is not that, right? But at the same time, it happened way before all these religions happened, and gives you literally everything you need to run your life. So from that angle, you can say that it is a religion and much more. So there is a certain limited understanding which people have, and they try to map that onto Hinduism, which does not work. Hinduism has its own place. It cannot be compared that, oh, this is what the core beliefs are for, say, this particular X religion, so Hinduism mein aisa kya hai? So comparing, like, parallel to this, what you have in Hinduism, it is not like that. So, yeah.
See,
okay, my name is Ramakrishnan. 2 small points. One, just about 10 days back, there was a professor from USA, University of California. He was telling me, what are these idols? They are stones. Now, a professor with so many degrees and so many papers, he still talks of idols as stones. And I told him, have you ever heard of Prana Pratishta? He has not. 60 years old, Hindu, a Brahmin, teaching in university in California. That is the state of affairs. Just for information. Achha, secondly, you were talking about prana pratishta, and the gentleman here was asking about Laddu Gopal. Now, at home, when we do pujas, we normally do avahan and we do visarjan.
Yes. Yeah.
Here, the deities or whomsoever you are worshipping is expected to, there is no equivalent word for avahan. You call him, you make him sit down, you give, क्या बोलते हैं, अभिषेक करते हैं, उसको जो भी खिलाना है खिलाते हैं, then ultimately you say, thank you very much, and ask you so many things. Now you please go back to your place, wherever you have come from. So we have avahan and you have visarjan at home when you do the puja. So when you bring the Laddu Gopal at home, that's what you are doing. There are certain mantras for that. If you know that, very good. I'm sure there may be equivalent in Hindi or English or whatever it is. And they're equally good. Because then it is Bhakti Bhava which comes in. And not the ritual, the Jnana which comes in. So this is an observation. A corollary to what has been talked.
So for this Atmarth Puja, which is mentioned in the Agamas, there are mantras which you need to chant. The Avahana which he is mentioning is very much mentioned in the mudras. There is an Avahan mudra, Avahani mudra, which is like this. And there are mantras which you chant for invoking the presence of God in your deity. And even, so see, I'll just expand again. The Pran Pratishtha involves installing certain metals, certain construction is also required as per Agamas when you're installing the deity in a temple. So you don't do that in your home. That is why it's not called Pran Pratishtha. But you have the freedom to invoke the divine in your deity. It is not that that deity is suddenly stone because you have not done Pran Pratishtha. There is Avahan mudras, there are mantras again for invoking Mahadeva. And also in the deities, in the temples, you actually treat them like living beings. So there are mantras to wake them up, there are mantras to give them food, there are mantras to change their clothes and the entire process. There are mantras to sing them lullaby and put them to sleep. And many temples practice this. Then there are mantras even for putting them to give them a nap in the afternoon. They go for an afternoon nap. Sometimes if you go to some temples in South India, you can't have darshan because the deities are taking a nap, right? Yeah, so many temples follow that. So all this is mentioned. It is not that somebody is just doing whatever is their whim and fancy. Yes.
And this concerns something which we do every day. मैं भगवान में विश्वास रखता हूँ, मैं पूजा क्यों करूँ? So what do Agamas or Sadashiv have to say about why you should offer धूप, दीप, बेलपत्र, kumkum, chandan to him, and what does it do to you? I mean, when you do it every day. So the ritualistic part and the spiritual significance behind this ritual and why this should be done every day, if you could just expand on this a little bit.
So if you see some of the verses a little bit before or after the verses which I have mentioned, Mahadeva has said if you do this every day, you are sure to achieve the ultimate. In some places he has said maybe you can. This is a process to achieve the ultimate. Here he has said this is the best way, and he has mentioned this is better than any dan, any dhyan, any social service. I don't remember the exact word he has used, but dhyan and dan he has used, any adhyayan, any study. He has clearly mentioned puja is the highest way of realizing the ultimate, and if you do puja in this way, in which way Mahadeva has mentioned, he has mentioned exact names of flowers you should offer in the morning, exact name of flowers if you are doing puja at night. He has mentioned how to prepare the Naivedya. So he has mentioned the oil to be used. So this is just my personal experience. I did not used to care much about which oil I am using for the daily puja. I used to use mustard or sesame, whatever I have around at that time. And then I read this verse in the Agamas where he has clearly mentioned that these oils have sattvic quality, these oils have rajasic quality, these oils have tamasic quality, and these oils have pisachik quality. So the vegetable oil is considered as pisachik by Mahadeva. So then I felt so bad, oh my god, I am offering pisachik oil to Mahadeva. So then I changed to ghee, right? Ghee is the best oil to offer. So he has given the qualities, and what you offer, that gets awakened in you. That is why he has mentioned the qualities of the materials. The white grains are best. He has mentioned that. So rice is the most common, it's easily available, and other white grains he has mentioned names, I don't remember the names, but he has given many names. So he has, before getting into all those details, he has said, I think he must have known that people will get overwhelmed. I'm giving so many descriptions. He has said, use whatever resources you have available, right? That is the first thing he has said. Then he has said, I forgot to highlight that line actually. He has mentioned whatever you offer, whether you are poor or you are affluent, the benefit is the same for both. It is not that if you are rich and if you are ordering a big, like, you know, Chandan ki Murti, you will get better benefit. No, he has said devotion is most important. So if a rich man is offering a big, like, you know, sandalwood chariot to Mahadeva, but he has like hardly, his mind is all over the place, he is not even like, you know, really committed to the puja, he does not get that kind of realization. But if a poor man, so-called poor is actually not the right word, but if a sadhu who doesn't have much, even if he offers a few rice balls, he gets much more higher realization. So he has said this very clearly, that the purpose itself is to realize the ultimate.
I have 2-3 questions again. One, you just mentioned something very important right now, that Shiva is saying that the puja is higher than even service or any other form of dana also.
Right.
There is often a question that, Are, doodh शिवलिंग पे ना चढ़ा के, all these movies that have come by, right? तो शिवलिंग पे दूध ना चढ़ा के गरीबों में बांट देते तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होता.
Yes.
I just wanted your comments on that, and I have 2 more following questions, please.
So I already said that puja is higher than any dan, and even in dan, this is something which is actually matching in Manusmriti, Vedas and Agamas. In all the 3 places, similar kind of thoughts are expressed, where he has said the benefit of the dan is in proportion to the feeling with which you give and the feeling with which the person receives. So it is not that you are very, like, you know, magnanimously giving something and somebody is not valuing it, it does not give you any benefit. The person should value it in a reasonable way for you to really have some benefit of it. First thing. Second thing, he has said that puja is above dan, and what you offer is you know, every material has a certain quality. So when you offer, say, milk on Shivalinga, milk has certain qualities. Milk, by the way, in the Vedas, since we are anyways discussing Vedas, milk from the cow is considered to have the qualities of somras. So it is literally considered as somras. When somras is offered to Indra, the rishi is saying, I am mixing the somras with the milk from the cow, and it is becoming even more divine. So this is just since we are anyways talking about it. So when you offer milk, it has certain qualities, and he is saying that, you know, those will get awakened in you. And another thing is, in the puja, what we understand as puja is like, you know, chadha diya and that's it. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying offer it and then use it. So whatever you offer to Mahadeva, that is now prasad for you. So now you can all consume it. He's not saying that only keep this for me, don't eat it. You have offered it, you have finished the puja, now Bhagwan has already energized it. He has accepted. See, he doesn't eat the food, he may eat the food also, but it's not, like I said, it's not because he's hungry that he's asking, right? He will bless it and energize it and give it back to you. So then you can all consume it. So even the milk you're offering on the Shivlinga, you can give it to people as prasad, which many temples actually do, right? So I've seen you go to temple and they give you the Charnamrit or something, ki ye prasad mein hai, ye पे चढ़ा था. Even भस्मा you get like that कि प्रसाद की भस्मा है. So
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो हम इष्ट की पूजा करते हैं, तो जो भगवान शिव हैं उनकी पूजा कम इसलिए होती है शायद क्योंकि उनमें जो मटेरियल का इनपुट है वो लॉर्ड विष्णु में है. क्या ये बात सच है? और उसको हम नॉर्थ इंडियन टेम्पल में जो विष्णु है उनको हम सामने पहले रखते हैं, फिर नेक्स्ट में शिवा हैं और फिर डाइटीज़ हैं, नवग्रह हैं. एक तो क्वेश्चन ये है. दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अब आपने कहा कि मैं मतलब तीसरा नेत्र आपका खुला हुआ है, तो अब आपसे एक पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है कि अगर आपका तीसरा नेत्र खुला है तो उसमें आपको क्या क्या चीज़ें आपने प्राप्त की हैं कॉस्मिक वर्ल्ड से. मैं सारी नहीं, मैं एक आधी बता दीजिए आप.
Let me answer one by one. I'll forget your questions. The first question I didn't fully understand, but different traditions put different deities in the front or in the back or as main deity or the side deity. So that is just based on which संप्रदाय. तो ऐसा कुछ जो वैष्णव ट्रेडिशन है उसमें वो भगवान विष्णु को ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं, एंड इवन द डिफरेंट ट्रेडिशंस उसमें कोई झगड़ा नहीं है एक्चुअली. सो ये एक वन मोर वे ऑफ डिवाइड ये होता है कि कौन सा ट्रेडिशन बड़ा है. कोई बड़ा नहीं है. आपको जिसके प्रति वो भावना है, जिसके प्रति आपके अंदर भक्ति है, आप उस ट्रेडिशन को फॉलो करिए. इट इज़ जस्ट एज सिंपल एज दैट. So it is not कि who is bigger or which should be put in the front.
शिवा टेम्पल अकेले बने हुए हैं तो वो जल्दी मतलब उनमें प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है, बट दोनों अगर साथ हों, क्योंकि वो एक कल्प के उसमें भी आ.
So this I don't have any comments on. I don't think I'll need data for it if we have to claim कि वो जल्दी खराब हो जाते हैं. This is based on that how the temple was built, who built it, which deities they wanted to install. It is based on that person's bhakti, right? Temples were built by certain people, end of the day. So it is just based on who you experience feeling connection with. The second question is about my third eye. I can give you a lot of experiences later on. I don't think we should use this time for that. But the current powers which I am initiated into and which I have manifested at least more than 100 times is remote vision. I can see things at any distance, and scanning for diseases or any other health conditions, the conditions in which you were born, your family conditions, all of that, I can see that. And healing through the third eye, I have given healing to many people. That is, again, it's not my healing, it is healing of my guru, which I just channel. And yeah, the power of, what is that called? Consciousness over matter. So you can move certain objects without touching them.
शिवा की बहुत सारी जब फोटोज होती हैं तो हमेशा शिवलिंग के सामने ध्यान में बैठे होते हैं. So why is Shiva himself sitting in front of Shiva?
See, because I don't have a logical answer for it, but the way I think it is because we are Mahadeva worshipping Mahadeva, right? See, the truth is you are Sadashiva, whether you agree with it, whether you believe it, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, everyone is Sadashiva, right? So Mahadeva has all the freedom to worship himself. And that is the point. So that what you are saying may be the artist's imagination. I don't know, like it could just be the artist's imagination. So I have always seen forms of dancing Shiva, maybe because I feel more connected to that. But it is not wrong, is what I'm saying.
You started off with Shivoham, Shivoham.
Yes, exactly.
मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, एक आपने वर्ड का यूज़ किया टाइमलेसनेस, ठीक है, और एक आप कॉस्मिक एनर्जी की बात करते हैं. तो कॉस्मिक एनर्जी हम उसको इनफाइनाइट मान लेते हैं. अब आप टाइमलेसनेस और इनफाइनाइट, ये बाकी जितनी बातें आपने समझाई हैं हम उसको मान रहे हैं. हमें इन दोनों के बीच में आप कैसे अपना विसर्जन करते हैं और कैसे अपने आप को सरल भाव से टाइमलेसनेस पे पहुंचा देते हैं, या कॉस्मिक एनर्जी से जो कि इनफाइनाइट है उससे जोड़ने में सरल भाव से, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा यत्न करके नहीं. तो इसके लिए आपके पास कोई दीक्षा है या आपके पास कोई ऐसा यंत्र है जिससे कि हम हर
देखिए
सज्जन को ये बता,
यही बता रही है आप जो मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं, यही तो पूरा
नहीं, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि आपके पास अगर इसका कोई छोटा सा.
Let me answer. So I am not a guru, I am an acharya. If you want initiation, you go to my guru, because you take initiation from the one who has given initiation to me. I am very happy to share the knowledge I have and whatever I know.
But that is possible.
Yes, of course. The point is that Mahadeva is timeless, Mahadeva is formless, Mahadeva is infinite. So when you realize you are Mahadeva, you are all of that. Now Mahadeva matlab Anant Kalyan Gun ke saath. So the more and more you start realizing you are Mahadeva, you will start experiencing all his qualities. So when you take initiations and when you actually do the spiritual processes, you automatically start realizing that. Yeah.
I'm thoroughly confused. I'm thoroughly confused about all the things. What is?
So forget the Q&A. Whatever I mentioned only in the talk itself, focus only on that.
That I'm asking. What is the carry-home message for?
See, Agamas cannot be reduced to one carry-home message. अगर महादेवा को केवल एक carry-home message देना होता तो इतनी बड़ी आगमा नहीं देते. Mahadeva is not stupid to go on and reveal parar, the number of verses, if he can really say it in just one word. Mahadeva is given so much because he wants you to understand all that and practice all of that. अगर महादेव को केवल Yes, please do. Definitely, that is anyways always mentioned. So in Agamas, Mahadeva is repeatedly mentioned what all Guru gives you, where all he is supposed to initiate you, what all he is supposed to explain to you. So yes, please go to Guru if you want, you can take that as a carry home message. But Agamas cannot be reduced to one thing because they are applied science. Now, like I was mentioning, he has even given how should you brush your teeth, which wood of which tree, how thick, how long should it be for you to do the morning daantun jisko bolte hain hum log traditionally. So it's given even that detail. So you do how much ever you can do is what I can say out of that. हाँ, read the Agamas. उसमें से आपको जो अच्छा लगे आप वहाँ से शुरू कर लीजिए.
So you said something about a guru. Is it necessary the guru has to be in a physical form?
Yes.
But if you take the case of Ramana Maharshi or somebody, then
No, they had a long lineage of gurus. Raman Maharshi had his own guru.
when you go through his biography, you realize that he got his emancipation, whatever it was, at the age of 11.
Yes.
When he was just lying down, and he said, if I am not this body, then what am I? In
That
an instant he
realization
got
will
it.
happen in you only. Somebody will not sit and tell you, now think that. But the guru will guide you in your process of realization.
I see. Thank you.
Is that all? Yes. Okay, thank you. So I'll just like to close with the Purna mantra, if that is fine with all. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sadguru Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot for listening.